Hey everybody, this is DM Mike, and this is the next kind of prep video for Dragons of Icespire Peak. Here I'm getting into the radio drama portion. I know I've talked a little bit about this, but this is actually one of the first radio dramas for Dragons of Icespire Peak. I want to show you a little bit of the process, how I do this. And this is going to open up the entire night, and it starts here. I'm in my D&D Beyond, which I think everybody got this who purchased the module anyway. But I'm at the portion of the Adventures Begins, and this is how a cutscene begins, in essence, as I start reading the module and trying to figure out and pick out certain things that I find interesting, that can be exciting, and help tell a little bit of the backstory to provide a little bit of foreshadowing without giving everything away. So I've started reading through all this, a little while ago, and I kind of seized or focused on, I just read seized right there, focused on this particular paragraph right in here. I think it's like the third paragraph down or something like that. That involves Gorthok, the Thunderboar, and this really stood out to me. And so this is what I have decided to create as the opening narrative to this cutscene now, or to this adventure. Now, you can read this whole passage. You might find something else. There's stuff in here about the dragon that might be interesting. Just coming off Tyranny of Dragons, I don't really want to do another cutscene right now with dragons, so I've steered away from that. But that is a good place to start. But here I've looked into this particular paragraph right here, and let's start right about here. Okay, it says these half-orcs worship Talos, an evil god of storms. Okay, great. Right there is an awesome atmosphere I can use. And many dwell in the dark depths of Neverwinter Wood. In stormy weather, they gather on remote hilltops to summon Gorthok the Thunderboar, a primal entity that serves Talos. Like the god it serves, Gorthok delights in destruction. Great stuff. All this sentence here is everything I need, I think, to really kind of create this. It doesn't say why they summon him. Maybe that's later in the adventure. It just says this is what they do because he delights in destruction. But that's enough for me, right? So this is what I do with cutscenes. I kind of pick something out, which I've done here, and just these two or three sentences here. And from here, this is the hard process. You take this little bit of information you have, and then I go into, like, I don't know, what is this, Google Docs, and I have to write a narrative. Now, what's nice about this is there isn't any dialogue. This is all narration, but as you can see, I've broken it up, and I write it different ways and whatnot. But here's the next step of that narrative process, that creating the cutscene, is having to sit down and write the narrative for it. So this is what I've done. Now, I've put little things in here like effects thunder and wind, effects crack and explosions of rock, things like that, just to kind of remind me of where I want to break something up. But really, this is just one long narrative piece, but it will be completely broken up by sound effects, like here, animal-like groans fill the sky, right? So all that stuff's going to break up this narrative and create a full, kind of a full narrative, a full piece here. This is only one page, right? And so, but I feel like one page in radio drama means about, I don't know, probably 2 to 3 minutes worth of stuff. This might be about 5 minutes worth of stuff. It really depends on how much I separate these, how, my pacing of when I'm reading it, and the amount of effects I want to put in, including music, which is a whole nother process of going through, your musical cues, whatever you have on hand, and trying to find that right piece. It's kind of working backwards, really. You have to find music that fits the piece instead of having pieces where someone comes in and fits the music to it, right? So it's very tricky stuff. But anyway, this is a very quick video, guys. I want to show you how I start this stuff, and it always starts by reading the narrative, not necessarily the whole adventure. Are you kidding me? That's insane. I don't sit there and do that. I just go through those opening moments, like the first, none of this stuff here, but like the adventure background and just some of the things they talk about, and these things will begin to leap out at you on what really works. Because on this adventure background, I mean, there's stuff here we could do with Cyrovane, I don't know how he's pronouncing his C, but Cyrovane, we could have a whole destructive piece with the dragon go around destroying some areas, or maybe just now flying into the area to foreshadow the types of problems this guy's going to have. I mean, he freezes to death certain creatures with its icy breath. That'd be a great action piece. There are a lot of things here just in this little section of the adventure background alone. You could probably do 2 strong cutscenes just from this. But like I said, because I've come off Tyranny of Dragons, I don't really want to do that. So I want to focus on something new for my players, because I am kind of playing with the same people. So for them to hear a little, something a little bit different. But this is perfect here. So now I've done this, I've just said this was my aha moment. Then went in here and spent, I don't know, an hour, a couple hours just cranking this out and trying to break down what I want. I did not want a lot of dialogue. I just want a narrative to set the piece. I'm not giving everything away. I'm just highlighting and kind of expanding on all this here, the thunder, the lightning, and the resurrection, really, or the summoning of this creature. And so my next piece is to go from here now into Adobe Audition and record all this and do all the edits. But anyway, guys, I just want to show you just a quick glimpse of how I put these things together. And I think maybe the next video we'll look at Adobe Audition and just the editing process there and putting it into a multi-track. All right, that's it, guys. See you in the next one.